Hi, welcome back, everybody, to day 54 of our 55 Days of Christ Consciousness. I'm Gina, Soul Inspired Reflections. This journey was inspired by the Christ Consciousness Self-Mastery deck created by Amanda Ellis, illustrated by Jane Delaford Taylor. This is a beautiful channeling of lessons and examples of things in your life and your qualities within you that you can work on and perhaps find inspiration. And remember, Christ means anointed in Greek, and what that symbolizes, what that may symbolize for you as you become more aligned with your essence, your divinity, your Christ consciousness, the igniting of that Kundalini energy from the base up to the cerebral, up through your spinal column into the brain. Like it's a magnetic, it's magnetic. So as you come into your ascension and purification process and an inner growth, your fluid, your sacred secretion begins to flow more easily through your spinal column and nervous system. So pay attention to how it's showing up for you, because it definitely impacts the physical body as you step more and more into your spiritual growth and aligned and coming into enlightenment in ways that you are unaware, right? We've all been shown depictions of what enlightenment is and has this, I would say, kind of a fantasy of what that is and looks like and means. In your journey of your own soul awakening and heart opening, that attainment, that Christ attainment of energy held within the body and self-mastery is going to look different for each of you. You're going to express it differently. But remembering that we're all part of the oneness and the wholeness of life. We're all part of source energy, God. And that means we're all part of each other. So if you are coming into this world and you have this individualization of the expression of God, as do I, how might we even be more excited in the ways we get to collaborate with those that are moving in a similar direction, holding space for those as they're in different levels of their journey without judgment, but with so much grace and compassion, and for yourself and for others, as you become more aligned into your true essence and divinity, as you're going through a purification process of the soul. So that brings us to day 54 of purification. And I did find that other card I hadn't read on, and I believe it was purification after I went through and double checked my videos, because there was something important to like highlight each card individually, even if it showed up as a secondary card in a prior reading. So today, 54 is purity. A return to innocence. A return to innocence. And yeah, just take in the eyes of this child, the depiction of this child. Breathe that in. And even the sweetness of holding this lamb or sheep or goat, it might be. And see the golden, like poppy, like flowers behind her, and the golden light behind her that radiates, almost as if it emanates from her being. Right? There's something about, and there's also that aquamarine, that turquoise color, that Mary Magdalene energy. But here again, we see the violet, and we also see the orange and yellows. Right? When you're in your purity, if you can remember as a kid, if those of you were really tapped in and able to be free as a child in your creativity, in your wonder, in your awe of life, that essence, that pure essence, that return to innocence and discovery of all things new, and had the parents that had the ability to really cultivate re-exploring the world through the eyes of a child. And so how might you maybe return to a sense and being of innocence within yourself to allow yourself to explore this life through childlike wonder? A return to innocence within you and your heart as you wipe away and purify all the aspects to yourself, the emotions you've been holding on to, the past experiences you've been holding on to, the even holding on to what your future should be and what your life should look like right now. What if you just held in your heart the wonder of life and how beautiful it is and magical you are as you return to the innocence of the day to day and explore each, this is a little Palo Santo for us all, and explore with childlike wonder and curiosity life. When's the last time you just stopped and really took in a flower? When a child like goes and bends down to it and just looks at all the petals inside and smells it. Even sometimes we'll break apart the rose, right? Because there's something about the tactile, the feeling of the softness of the petals that draws you in. It kind of soothes and calms you. And if you break the petal, the aroma that may be released from that, right? Think about when you work with herbs and mint and you crack that mint and you could smell it in the air, or sweet basil and you smell it in the air. And the aroma just lights you up. It can light you up. Like right now, it brings memory, right? Our senses bring memory, right? I'm picturing my mom pinching off some sweet basil from the yard as she prepared to make pasta sauce. And the aroma that it left throughout the house is just that small piece. It left the sweetest aroma of basil, right? And just lit up the house. So how might your purity and your return to your essence, your innocence, right? Because she loved gardening. And as a child, I used to help weed and take care of the yard, right? But that was fun and exciting. I didn't mind that I got dirty. I didn't mind that I had to weasel underneath certain plants to reach the farthest weed to uproot it. It was fun. It was exploratory. And then there's bugs and all these other things, all right? And it brings memories together. It brings joy. It brings so much. Right? Or the smell of baked goods, if one of your parents are baking, or when you learn to bake and that aroma comes down and you're just like, oh, it brings this highly sensory experience. Even right now, some of you may be right back there in your childhood with something that lit you up. Maybe it was your first baseball. Maybe it was first glove. Maybe it was the first time doing something you've been wanting to do for so long, or the sound of an instrument, right? Explore this life with the purity of a child, with the innocence of a child, not worried and being concerned of getting anything right or wrong or fitting in. Because there's a part within children before certain level sets in where they begin to worry about others and how they are and if they fit in. There's this really sweet spot before they get into school where they just take in life. And even seeing this goat, it reminds me, my sister and my niece at the time, she was probably 6 or so. And we were driving by the agricultural center of one of the local colleges, and all there were baby sheep out. So we pulled over to look at them because they were all by the fence. And just her excitement of the 6-year-old going, how can anyone have a bad day? Don't they know there's sheep in the world today? That's what she shouted out. Don't you know there's sheep in the world today? And with so much love and excitement. What if you spent time with your day and go, oh my gosh, how amazing. Don't you know? How can anyone be upset? Don't you know that there's sheep in the world today? There's plants in the world today. There's clouds in the sky today. When's the last time you sat in the awe and wonder of life? That childlike innocence, a return to innocence as you're purifying your soul, because this self-mastery, this ascension process is a purification of your soul and a return to your light, a return to innocence, a return to where all is right within you, and then all is right within the world that surrounds you, and it expands out. You connect with life with an open heart, and life receives you in the same way. It's a movement of giving and receiving, being in gratitude for being here, And as hard as so many of us, and I reach these points too, it's like, oh God, why am I here right now? It is so challenging today. What if I just let that go? Let the feeling, sure, I can acknowledge it and come back to the purity, my essence, my childlike wonder, and return to the innocence within me. So what is it within you that reminds you of your return to innocence? And maybe some of you didn't have a childhood where you could just be a child, and you're rediscovering that now. So let yourself have it. Go have fun and be curious and expressive and enjoy the world that is around you. Let your light shine out and expand, because when you are having fun and enjoying life, you're open heart to your experiences and to others, and it's just a really beautiful way to walk through this world. Even when you are hit with challenges, imagine if there was someone near you that also held that purity, and they just talk to you like, it's okay right now. You're having a hard day. I'm just going to sit with you. Right? How might nature sit with you? Those of you who have been following me for a while know I will always bring nature in, because not everyone has a physical human being near them all the time. But we have nature with us all the time. You have ascended master healers, like you have that Christ energy within you all the time. You have the angelic realm around you and within you all the time. You are never alone. You can radiate your essence, your purity in a safe way. You don't have to be afraid to be yourself. And if someone else tries to shut you down, just be you anyway, and recognize that had nothing to do with you at all. Nothing to do with you at all. How might you still hold the light? Because it's not a personal thing when someone tries to squash it. It's drawing something out within them, right? So how might you share your essence, even if it's from a distance? How might you begin to care for life in a way that you've forgotten, or maybe you weren't shown and you want to develop that, right? You want to develop that and open yourself up to it. I remember early on, over when I first started my meditations and working with ascended master healers and studying the universal rays, and a spider was hanging in front of me on my path, and I knocked it out of the path's way. And for whatever reason, I chose to squash it, and it hurt. I felt it in the depth of my heart. And never again have I ever knowingly killed a spider ever again. And most insects. Because then I realized, oh my God, we are all connected. I must hold it. I must hold life and myself with purity and innocence, and recognize the oneness in all of life, the light of God within all of life. Some of you may have had similar experiences where you're recognizing, wow, I just have to honor life all around me, and I can't bring it to myself to hurt anything, any consciously and knowingly cause harm to another person or being or living creature. And it goes for our what we call inanimate objects as well. How do you treat that? How do you let go of things in a honorable way, in a pure way? Right? Those of you that letting go of items and things like that. Be purposeful in the way you walk through this life. Be pure. Return to innocence. Think about what we might do as sport children as they let go of maybe their stuffed animals as they grow older, or the pacifier, right? Because that soothes them. And now we're asking them to be part of letting go so something new, a new stage in their life can come in, right? There's some sort of ritual people will do that bring the children a part of it versus just taking it away and going, you're done, right? Like ripping it away. That can be really like traumatic, right? Yeah, something's clearing there. So how might we come in and be more pure, be more loving in the way we let go of things in our life and the transitions of it, right? Because we're going to feel it. But when you create the space, when you create the space and the ritual of these cycles, the beginning and ending of cycles, it's a very powerful place to be. And it actually allows for the transition to occur with more ease and grace, with minimal, really little to no suffering at all anymore. Right? Because we're not trying to force the process. We're allowing it to naturally happen. We're going in through this ceremonial process and purification of the soul, and recognizing it's a cycle within a cycle. The purification of your soul, the ascension process, is a cycle of awakening. And it has many cycles within it that is connected to universal cycles, cosmic cycles. And how might we be in our daily cycle, our daily ritual, right? Our daily ceremony of each day, right? Because life itself is a cycle where we are born, we live, and then we die, right? So how might we maintain the purity and return to innocence during all these cycles and changes within life? But let's see what the card has to share with us, because some of what I am bringing forth right now will lead us into our final card for day 55. And this card of purity is number 26. Comes down to an 8, that, and also that infinity symbol for those that you wish to do the numerology on it. But we're kind of already leading into that ebb and flow, that cycle, that moving, the constant movement, the yin and yang, as we saw in that unity, right? The sacred union. How might your sacred union be pure and innocent and playful, right? This whole process can be, and you, through your divine will, have the power to make this process and create this process of healing and purity with so much more ease and grace. I had to pause for a moment to get a little bit of water. Right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience, which you probably won't even notice other than the little pause, little glitch in the video. So purity, a return to innocence, and we're going to read from the deck now. To remain of pure heart and mind at this time is emphasized, as well as being open to being showered in springtime colors and a burst of yellow vibrational joy. We live in a world with distractions and energies that often lower and dent our view of reality. So as I continue reading here, we're going to go ahead and also bring in this beautiful color, lemon joy. And it's just working with the lemon and even just having lemon in your water in that spring and summertime. It's so rejuvenating. So it's one of my favorite scents and also one of my favorite aura sprays created by Amanda Ellis and her team. They do a really lovely and purposeful, thoughtful job in their work. So yeah, bring in citrus too, has a way of lighting you up and awakening you. Even if you crack open an orange, right, it wakes you up. So for those of you in this winter time, crack open some citrus, smell the aromas. It's another way to bring sun light to your day when we're in times of where it's a little more overcast, a little cooler, the intensity of the sun is softer, right? So those are ways to bring in the sun into your life, into your being, into your body. Because remember, they have vibration and frequency, color, right? So take in that color, right? Oop, I guess it wants to be sprayed a little bit more. Is that we're spraying that lemon joy into your aura, and really take a moment to breathe that in. Oh yeah, it's immediately uplifting. Immediately uplifting. I'll have to find the lid a little later. So, oh yeah, and even as the sun starts to come through the window a little bit more, like, yes, bring that light in, bring that innocence, that purity, open your heart, open it up. Definitely open it up, right? It's so much easier to be in joy. It takes a lot of energy to be the opposite and grumpy and complaining. Like, it's so much easier to go into laughter and joy and bring laughter to your day if you're feeling out of sorts and just kind of in the lower state, which is okay, but let's bring it up. Find something to laugh about yourself, and just make life fun again. Make it fun again. Okay. So, because there's always joy to be had, always. We live in a world with distractions and energies that often lower and dent our view of reality. Clouds come and blot our inner landscape, and we can become jaded, cynical, and despondent. We can start to anticipate and therefore attract the next thing to go wrong, feeling that life is somehow conspiring against us. Such distortion may come from disappointments, from betrayal, or via being worn out by life and its demands, expectations, and pace. Yeah, really pay attention to your thoughts, right? Because you are you're magnetizing things to you. So through your divine will, which includes the mental body, your throat, your expression, what are you saying? What are you programming? What are you calling forth in your life? How are you programming your body? Remember, because your cells have memory, right? The olfactory senses, right? There's moisture in the air. It triggers memory. It triggers a cellular memory, right? So how might you return to the purity and essence of your soul and allow that purity, essence, and wisdom and illumination to come through you, and the joy to come through you, where the clouds will now part and the sun will always be there, even when you don't see it, because you will feel it inside you. And I work with this all the time because there are times right now I'm in such a big change in my own life that I have to come back to the joy and get back into the flow and alignment with my essence to allow my divinity to come in and be living life from that place of joy, of innocence, of purity, of fun, of that golden light. And that part of it is letting go of the past, letting go, let go. And it goes for the good and the bad experiences, right? Because if we're holding on to even the good and saying, God, I wish it was like that again, I wish it was like that again, then we're holding on to a past experience versus allowing it, the next one, to be pure in its own essence and experience within you. So you can see how when we hold on to any aspect of the past, it can limit you moving forward and allowing the purity of life to come in. You may have once felt enthusiastic and ready to greet each day afresh, but now are seeing life through dull eyes. Pulling this card asks you to look again and see the world afresh, just as a child or children are born curious and inquisitive, seeing goodness in everything. You too are reminded of this more innocent, pure state. It exists within others and inside you, that spark of pure light that you incarnated with, and that no event, person, or situation has ever truly vanquished. Spending time with young children and animals can assist you now by helping lift your spirits and overall well-being. Being close to the energy of both, it's important. Hearing children play their voices in happy song, watching newborn lambs, and the fish in the pond. Nature helps rekindle what we seek from the first raindrops of spring and the return of migrating birds, all heralding a new cycle where we can start again. Here we are with the cycles again. Yes. Moments that remind us of the cycle of life, the energy of birth, and the promise it always brings. The tentative exploration and wonder of a child's first steps, the first feed, the harmony of making flower garlands, and the imprints of winter's first snow angel. Additionally, the prospect of rebirth is seen in those close to death, for the soul is always reborn anew, casting off the shackles and ailments of the body that has run its natural course. We enter life as pure spirit, and we are welcome back, a fresh death as such. And we are welcome back after death as such. While here, we must not forget we are spirit within a body that came to run freely in God's garden, and note that it was good. I found that interesting, as I'll pause here, that I said afresh, back afresh, as that point of after death. Yeah, you come back afresh to new. And so what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with yourself right now, afresh and anew, as you go through deathly cycles, right? Even as you're living this life, there's pieces of you going through a death cycle and a renewal cycle, a resurrection. Right? How might you use that metaphor of that, of the Christ energies, the symbolism of death and resurrection? Right? It's not always a physical death of the body. We are going, and you are going through constant change. Because death is change, birth is change, growth is change. No different than the seasons. Right? We have the transition from summer to fall into winter, winter to spring, and back to summer. They all lead into each other. It's not an abrupt change. We feel it coming. Long before the first leaf falls from the tree, we feel the fall come. Right? We begin to prepare for the harvest of that time of year. So even your life, you feel it coming before it's fully manifested. You can feel the energies like the tendrils through the ground. You feel it. When you start to pay attention to the cycle that you were in, into what is coming, the energy is already there. It's not, it is magic and it's not magic all at the same time. When you are in tune with your being, with your soul and your abilities, and you begin to work them like a muscle, you begin to come into the stillness of life, bringing things into the 0 point, and you feel the subtle shifts and energies and vibration that run through the currents around you in the air, the pulsations from your own heart, that pulsation and current that runs through you from source down your spinal column and light body. Children can be very attuned to this because there's nothing inhibiting them often. So slow down, tune in to you and your heart. And you have to allow yourself to get through the superficial layers, because oftentimes the superficial layers are highly emotional layers that also come with an analytical mental body. And just continue to breathe and allow your soul's wisdom to rise to the surface. So I'll continue. It may also be time to look at healing a heart that has hardened and become suspicious, doubting people's motives and intentions and blocking positive opportunities from arriving. To keep the heart energy soft and open is to keep it pure, since the greatest protection is to emit such a strong frequency of light that no darkness can touch it. Just as Jesus taught today, take a walk or sit by a window and just marvel at creation. Take breaths at clean air into your lungs and notice the water and skies, the birds in the air, the rustle of a tree, the clouds, the scent of life. All these things and more, but put us closer to the one that created it, and thus near to purity and the healing available. Meditate and reflect on the energies of purity and innocence. Ask to receive downloads of both and feel as their respective rays touch your heart deeply. Transform your view of the world and the goodness within it. What a beautiful channeling. And it reminds me of how I spent my mornings today in the past few days, where I'll get my cup of coffee and I sit outside my backyard and I listen to the morning. My dog sits near me and he too watches the yard. Sometimes he'll bark at the neighbor cat or the squirrels. But today was so different. I was listening to a meditation and watching, and I hit a certain meditation and the wind picked up and swirled around and the leaves began swirling around and then came around me. And then a certain section of the meditation, then it paused. And then like an integration happened. And then I saw the crow in the tree, and then another type of like a hawk start to soar in the sky with its wings out, because then the wind came again and rustled through the leaves again. The same thing at another point of the meditation. And I was like, wow, I was just taking it all in, and I had not felt that energy, so connected to that energy in a long time in this way. It was different, yet the same. And it was just swirling around me. And even Gus like perked up and he was like, oh, yeah, it was beautiful. So remember to bring the beauty back into every moment of your life. And we'll pause there, and I'll see you on day 55 as we bring this journey to an end. At least with this experience, because the journey It really doesn't end. You just keep going. I'm Gina, Soul Inspired Reflections. Be sure to like and share this video. Share some comments. What comes up for you during hearing some of the words and the channelings from the book, or any things that come through me? I want to know what comes through you, because this is your journey and it's unique to you, and different things come up for you, and they're just as valid. Much love to all of you, and I'll see you for day 55.